David Shuster here. Donald Trump is clearly overweight, doesn't like exercise, cannot walk in a straight line, and has swollen ankles. But Trump is giving fitness critiques to the governor of Illinois. J.B. Pritzker opposes Donald Trump's planned deployment of federal troops to Chicago, so Trump is lashing out.
I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually. This guy is a disaster.
In that same White House Oval Office appearance, Donald Trump called Pritzker a slob and said the governor should hit the gym. Trump targeted Pritzker's health while Trump was slathered in orange makeup and kept trying to hide the bruises on his hands. Trump's hands appear to show signs of IV therapy or transfusion. In other words, Donald Trump has his own health issues, and J.B. Pritzker says Trump is projecting.
From my perspective, it takes one to know one on the weight question. And the president, of course, himself is not in good shape. His personal attacks on me are just evidence of a guy who's still living in fifth grade. He's the kind of bully that throws invectives at people. And because he knows that what he's saying is actually commentary on himself.
Later, Pritzker held a news conference with state and local leaders. One after another, they each publicly warned Donald Trump not to send National Guard or military troops to Chicago. Trump has already dispatched thousands of gun-toting troops to the streets of Washington, D.C., despite crime statistics showing that rates of violence had already dropped to record lows. Now, Trump says he wants to carry out similar federal troop deployments in Chicago. Illinois leaders, including Pritzker, say the Trump military move, never mind the constitutional problems, will cause more harm than good to public safety.
His proposed actions will make our jobs harder and the lives of our residents worse. Earlier today in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, "Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city?" Instead, I say, "Mr. President, do not come to Chicago." You are neither wanted here nor needed here. Your remarks about this effort over the last several weeks have betrayed a continuing slip in your mental faculties and are not fit for the auspicious office that you occupy. Most alarming, you seem to lack any appropriate concern as our commander-in-chief for the members of the military that you would so callously deploy as pawns in your ever more alarming grabs for power.
A lot of Democrats and Republicans believe that Governor Pritzker is preparing a 2028 presidential campaign. So politically, Donald Trump may be doing Pritzker a favor by elevating the governor's status through personal attacks. And there are Democrats in Chicago who say that Pritzker has been delighted by Donald Trump's attention. Earlier this month, Donald Trump himself referred to the 2028 presidential campaign speculation of Pritzker by saying about him, "I notice he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance, you know?" In the meantime, the debate over the deployment of federal troops is intensifying, and Democratic leaders in several U.S. cities are speaking up. The district attorney for the city of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner, points out that Donald Trump is a convicted felon.
And we're talking about a man who's been convicted of 34 felonies. We're talking about someone who lies all the time. And one of those lies is that these big cities are not doing well with public safety. In fact, as of this morning, Philly is at a 50-plus year low in homicides. We're down in 14 out of 18 categories and subcategories of crime. This is just a lie. It's a lie in D.C. It's a lie in L.A. It's a lie in Chicago. It's a lie in Philly. And it's a lie by a criminal who pardons criminals, insurrectionists, people who are basically engaging in treason against the United States. Simply put, the only crisis here is Donald Trump, and that's because he wants a crisis. He wants a crisis so he can roll tanks in big cities, make it look normal, and he wants that because he intends to try to carry out a coup.
A coup, says the top prosecutor in the city of Philadelphia. And what does Krasner mean by coup?
All of this stuff it's basically a grifter in search of a crisis that doesn't exist. The only crisis here is Donald Trump. And he wants a crisis because he wants an excuse to cancel elections down the road. Maybe not these midterms, a little early for his game, but definitely after that, he's even spoken about it. He just spoke about it the other day when Zelensky was meeting with him in the Oval Office. He's talking about the cancellation of elections because of a crisis where there is no crisis. America needs to wake up.
That warning from Democratic elected leaders is getting louder. They fear that Donald Trump and his sycophants are trying to normalize the image of federal troops rolling through the streets so that the public gets used to this unprecedented and unconstitutional assertion of federal power. And once the public has gotten used to Donald Trump's deployment of militarized troops, the fear is that Trump will have his troops then crack down on public protests or dissent. And when there are violent clashes, Trump will point to the conflicts as an excuse to impose martial law and restrict elections or voting. Donald Trump defenders say that this scenario is ridiculous, but a year ago, the proposition that there would be militarized troops roaming through the streets of Washington, D.C. and other cities would have been ridiculed as well. However, here we are. If there is a silver lining to all of this, it's that Donald Trump seems easily distracted, rambles on in tangents, and has clearly lost a few steps in his personal attacks and zingers. Trump's timing isn't sharp or funny the way it was a few years ago. Now, Trump just seems sad and aggravated. He keeps talking these days about his own mortality, and that seems to be another indication that even Donald Trump knows his health is in sharp decline, and his exercise suggestions to Governor Pritzker or anybody else are both remarkable and pathetic. By the way, public protests are getting louder against the Trump team's ICE deportation raids. Masked federal agents are being forced to retreat, do the walk of shame, and in some cases find new vehicles. In Los Angeles, that ICE SUV was parked illegally on the sidewalk, so a tow truck driver pulled the vehicle away as delighted bystanders showered the agents with expletives. Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Thanks for watching. If you found this reporting and commentary valuable, do us a favor and tap the like button. For more content like this, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. That way, you'll be notified on your YouTube homepage when we drop a new video. If you are tired of corporate spin and want honest, people-focused news, click the join button below and be part of the fight for a better future. We wouldn't be here without your support. Stay informed, stay engaged, and thanks again for joining us.